everyone. Welcome to Eat Sleep Code, the official Telerik podcast. I'm your host, Ed Charbeneau, and with me is my co-host, John Bristowe. How are you doing in this new year, John?
I was just going to say Happy New Year. Doing well. Looking forward to all the great new technologies, AI and otherwise. Looking for the robot overlords this year. I think 2024 will be the year.
You say that, but I don't believe you, John. I know you too well. I do not believe you.
I'm just saying this so that when they look at the archive footage, the robots will take mercy on me. So looking for the robot overlords.
There you go.
It's the Kent Brockman defense of the ant overlords.
Say, I remain skeptical because it is CES week, and I know you've seen at least a few things from CES. So we'll have a chat about that eventually here on the show. We'll save that for last, though.
All right.
Let's start with a little bit of announcements and whatnot first. We've got .NET Aspire Preview 2 shipped late in December, kind of over the holidays. Folks over at Microsoft were working during the times where a lot of us were on vacation, apparently. So .NET Aspire Preview 1 shipped in November with .NET 8, and then it looks like they did a nice little update before the end of the year. So .NET Aspire, if you're not familiar with it, which isn't a big surprise, it's brand new and it's kind of a preview type of a thing. It's a kind of an orchestrator pattern for doing development of microservices and cloud architectures. And it's got some nice built-in features that people seem to like quite a bit. One of those being a dashboard. Let's see, we got some links here. There we go, straight to it. This nice dashboard that helps organize all of the things that are associated with the microservices that have been orchestrated by Aspire. So you've got kind of direct access to all of the metadata of containers, the projects, the URLs, all the endpoints that belong to any kind of hosted web API service, metrics, logs, all of that is in the dashboard. And that dashboard comes for free with just using the patterns provided in Aspire.
Right.
So it looks like they've made some nice improvements to the dashboard, some of the logging and whatnot. Just kind of fleshing out some more of the ideas of what this will do, adding some more plugins for it. It kind of has this this configuration model where you can easily just add things either through code or through Scaffolder to add. Here's some examples. If you want to add Key Vault, you can just kind of plug these things in, and with like 1 or 2 lines of code or through a wizard interface, you can just add these to your microservice architecture. So it looks like it's shaping up, and it's in preview, so now's the time to get your opinions out there and let them know what you like and dislike about what they're doing, and help them shape it into something you might want to use. And here's a good coding example, by the way, of plugging those services into your pipeline there. You just kind of have this nice builder pattern, add project, and then when you do this, these any endpoints and stuff generated by these are kept kind of nice and clean inside of the pattern here. So you don't have to like keep track of a bunch of URL endpoints manually and stuff.
Yeah, the thing that you want to make sure, you being Microsoft, is to get past the perceived toy mode of this framework. So I've seen frameworks come and go at Microsoft historically in the past, and the thing that's always a challenge with this is primarily adoption is the number one problem, is because frameworks like this, as I've said, have come and gone, and for a developer to take an investment on something like this means they have to take a leap of faith that this framework will remain around forever and ever. And I think that will pose a challenge for these folks. So Aspire is interesting from what I'm seeing here. I think that there's a lot here. It looks like there's a lot of stuff that's being built, and I'm not arguing that you should avoid it. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot. Like, you're investing. Looks like there's a lot being built in here, and if I was a developer today, I would wait on this.
Well,
I wouldn't jump in just yet.
I think the main thing is this right here, right? Preview. It's preview. I definitely wouldn't roll this out into production being a preview, especially at preview 2. This is really early. I don't know the roadmap. I could probably look it up and see if it's public. I would imagine, just using kind of intuition here, that this will probably come out of preview maybe in .NET 9 when that releases. So maybe November you might see a release of this that's not in preview.
But even if this was in V1 or V2 for that matter, I would still want to wait to see,
True.
What's the traction, what's the community uptake of this? Is this the right way to go?
True. Yep. Kind of with anything. Also depends on what you're building, the scale of it, that sort of thing. If you're building something maybe smaller, that's not going to be that big of a transition or migration to something else. If this doesn't pan out, then
sure,
yeah, maybe it's an option.
How this goes. I mean, you've got code bases that are hundreds of thousands of lines of code, for example, if not millions, and you can migrate to a framework like this and save a lot of time. But it is opinionated, and so it will take you in a certain direction. So I would just advise developers just to keep an eye on it. Damian Edwards has a strong history, a strong track of shipping stuff. So that's, it's good that he's stewarding this thing. I would like to see the other part of the story will be like adoption. So who's taking this up? You're going to probably at some point thinking, a year down the track, you may see a keynote or something at an event somewhere like Build where they're talking about, the latest customer using Aspire as the basis of everything. So
yeah, and this is the early days of it. Looks like their GitHub, it's 2,200 stars, couple forks, some people watching. Nothing major yet. Not a whole lot of pylon yet, but it's only been out like 2 months. So we'll see. I don't think so if you watched closely, you knew about it. Okay. To a lot of people, though, I think this came out of the blue. And this was actually called something else prior to Aspire. There was a set of kind of experiments, I guess. I'll use that term since they used it with their Blazor stuff they did. So they experimented, and what they had was something called Microsoft Tie. I don't know if you remember that at all.
No.
I think I did mention it on the show at one point, but it would have been just kind of a footnote type of thing. It was TYE, and I think if you go to that project today, it redirects. No, that's a different tie. Thindle was asking about the bot. That was spelled differently. So yeah, Tie is a developer tool. It makes developing, testing, and deploying microservices and distributed applications easier. This sounds exactly like Aspire, and there is some documentation somewhere that redirected this. I'm trying to remember. Oh, see, this has been archived on November 20th of 2023. You know what happened also around that date, John?
November 20th, 2023?
Yeah. .NET Aspire was launched. So this was kind of the testing around for it. I kind of watched this a little bit, but it wasn't publicized very much. So if you didn't know about it and you weren't following it, or watching it, you didn't really know that much about it. But this transitioned into it.
we're on that hype cycle right now, so we're on the ascent, and it will be really interesting once this thing hits V1 to see where it goes from there. Will the investment continue to be made? If so, how will it grow, etc. Could go in one of two directions. Yes. But yeah, I would definitely watch it. It seems interesting. It does seem pretty big. I haven't spent any time with it at all, but it seems very Aspire is very inspirational
Mhm.
in terms of its mandate, I guess.
If you're like a super like fan of Aspire, like I don't know if those are out there yet, but if you're like a super duper fan of it, I would recommend jumping over to this Thai repo and just kind of looking through some of the history of it. You'll kind of see the baby steps that were taken to kind of proof of concept what came around into Aspire. And that was kind of the research repo there. So you might find that kind of neat in a nerdy way. Let's see here. We got some more Microsoft news. I think I canceled my share though. Let's try that again. It's a new year. I'm trying to figure out all the buttons and widgets again. Alrighty. So 2023, a year of community experiments. I think that's
Yes.
something that you share, John. What's going on with
Yes.
the community experiments?
Well, this is for Visual Studio. So Mads is obviously very much invested in the VS Code and VS communities, and basically a summary post of everything that was shipped as far as community contributions. So these are a wide variety of extensions, features, etc. So this is an example of it's a summary of posts. If you haven't been keeping track of this, is a great sort of post to catch up on. So as an example, differentiating VS instances through different colors, adding colors to bracket pairs, for example, these and other types of extensions and solutions have been added, comparing files in VS. The list goes on and on and on. It's a huge list of community contributions, and definitely worth taking a look at if you haven't had the chance to look at anything that's been happening.
Yeah, I think people are going to geek out to this one, so I put it in chat so they can look through and download some of these things. Comparing files in Visual Studio, that could be like really helpful. A lot of times I kind of rely on Git for this, but that's not always the easiest thing.
Oh God, I mean, there's so many different ways you can compare files.
So. Yeah. Let's see. I like this first one here as well. The differentiating Visual Studio instances. I always have a lot of different ones open. And I have mistakenly put files in repos that they didn't belong in because I had the wrong window. Surround selection. What is that?
So it's like a greedy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's so like Markdown Monster does this. So if you highlight something, it'll kind of complete the outlining of it. Scroll document tabs, that's a nice one. Image preview. We've had this before, I feel like.
I know. Yeah.
And it disappeared. Now it's back. So nice there. That's some nice stuff. I wish they would go back and fix snippets in Visual Studio. It's been broken since 2017, and I've been asking them. Who doesn't? Like, it's part of the autocomplete feature of, you probably do and just don't realize it.
You probably use Copilot for that now, wouldn't you?
You'd think. But anyway, it's broken. They don't want to fix it because I guess a bunch of Johns are using Visual Studio.
Nice. Thanks.
Our move to generated SDKs.
Yeah, this one really caught my attention because it uses a framework that has flown underneath the radar. This is a framework from Microsoft called Kayota, and I saw this a while back, and I was like wondering why no one had actually picked up on it. So one of the biggest challenges you have with typically an SDK, when people talk about SDKs in terms of a service, they talk about endpoint SDKs. So they're talking about class libraries written for a particular language that allow you to target the SDKs. This is a blog post from the folks over at GitHub. There's a well-known SDK called OctoKit that has been published by GitHub since the beginning of time, since time immemorial. And OctoKit has always been manually maintained, and so they've moved now to Kayota, which is this code generator for Open API docs, and there are a bunch of Open API tools out there, and this is the one from Microsoft. And I did a comparison of these tools. This was back in the day when I was actually doing something similar for Octopus, which is how do we create and maintain SDK libraries for folks who want to use our API. And so this has come a long way. Coyote at first, I think, shipped with 3 languages, TypeScript, Go, and C#, and now they're added Java, which is not easy. Java is probably the hardest one there. PHP, Python, Ruby, etc. Swift is kind of under development, but Coyote is definitely an interesting project, and I think that it's flown under the radar for, as I said, for a long time. I don't think a lot of people have given it much attention, but it certainly is giving. There's a bunch of Open API toolkits out there. I'm just doing a quick search. Swagger is an example of that. They're the folks who basically proposed a lot of this. Smart Bear was the company that ran this. Coda is Microsoft implementation of this. And so what this is a practical example of how Coyote is being used by GitHub for basically now generating OctoKit for C# and Go, which is awesome. Oh, you're muted, Ed.
Sorry, I said there was an interesting question in chat. Any comments on that, John?
Wonder if Coyote can filter the endpoints listed on the OpenID doc to just ones that we expose to customers and not all. Great question. So most open API words. 2024. You think I would be improving my speech? It's my resolution. Talk better. Talk more better. Coyote is like many of the Open API tools. You basically walk up to your Open API description and gen from there. Whether or not it has filtering support, I don't know. I haven't looked at Coyote in the last 6 months or so. I looked at it well over a year ago, and I haven't looked at it recently. But I would imagine that. Yes, I think there is ability to filter out certain endpoints. Now that I think about it, when I looked at it, I think that was a feature that was built in right from the get-go. So I think that the person to bug about this is not me. I know very little about this. Is not me. I'm trying to remember who's on the team, and I believe they've got a blog. Actually, there you go. So they've got a blog, and I'm trying to remember who the PM is for this. Anyways, it doesn't matter. You can walk up to it. I believe you can filter based on the operation type, and you can use, like, Coyote is one of many tools out there. But I did a shootout between Coyote and Swagger back in the day, and I think there was another one as well, an open source one that kind of sucked as well. It was Java based. They all kind of sucked at the time, but I think Coyote is starting to come into its own. So I'm gonna have to take a look at this again.
Yeah, there's some rough documentation out there, and I don't see that in there, but it doesn't mean it's not there. It's a good question though. On to, let's see here. GitHub certifications are generally available.
Yeah, so now, Ed, I can get certified for GitHub Actions. I am certifiable, I know that, but I can get certified now for GitHub Actions. So these are new certifications available from GitHub. They've got one for GitHub Actions. They've got one called Foundations. Basically, if you're looking for a badge from Credly, this is one of the ways in which you can do it. So advanced security, that is not easy. I've got a lot of experience with that, setting up permits, permissions, and etc. So yeah, if you want to get a cool looking badge, I'm gonna get that GitHub Actions one. I've written enough of them. I'm gonna go grab that one, I think.
We talked about Credly before. Is this something that industry uses at all? Like, do I get
so this one, so Credly is they're owned by Pearson. So Pearson is the exam provider. And,
so this
pretty much everyone and their son has a badge up on Credly. Credly is just basically like a virtual badge distributor sort of.
But it's not just like Xbox, what do you call it?
What? Like achievements? No.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Right? You have to write they have to be issued to you, and then you accept them. But
so
the badge is a virtual token that is, from a verified authority. They have to sign up and pay for being a provider with Credly, and Credly you'll issue a badge. So, for example, if you get an MVP award, or you write an Azure exam, or you do one of these exams, for example, Credly will issue the person who owns the exam, like in this case GitHub, will issue a token to you. You will accept that token that you can basically put on your profile and share it on LinkedIn and things like that.
This, I know GitHub is part of Microsoft now. This feels very Microsoft-y. They're all about the certification programs and getting certified for things.
Amazon's got certifications.
I know they all do. Google does too.
For Kubernetes, there's certifications for Linux admin. This is not just Microsoft. You wouldn't believe how many different types of badges there are on Credly. It's crazy.
Badges. We don't need no stinking badges.
I know. It's like that North Korean general with the badges that like are going up and around on his shoulders and on his back. He's got all those medals clanging off his chest. Sort of thing. That's me with all my Credly certs. So.
Like I do see the value in getting certifications and in having them, but fortunately I haven't had the need for these things. Doesn't mean that it's like not something that's super common. It's just the companies that I've worked for never like kind of twisted my arm to go get these things. They were nice haves, but I know some places they're like, you have to do this if you want to have this job, right? I've seen
that's fair.
Job descriptions where they're like, if you don't have it, we're going to make you go get it to keep this position. So there are some places out there that are like that. I don't have a negative opinion on that. I'm just saying that I just happen to not have experienced it firsthand, but I've seen it.
Okay.
Now, this is about the dev in tech news or dev news for the week that I think we've put together, and we do some tech stuff on here, and it is CES week, so we'll jump into some CES stuff. And John, try to keep an open mind.
Are these? This is a new segment called "Stupid CES Products." Vacuum shoes, toilet paper robots.
A lot of people call Tesla crazy, John.
Yeah.
So let's see where we go. Let's go down the rabbit hole with this one. All right. We actually talked about this device.
This thing. God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I told John to just chill, and this is what I get.
I saw this at 5 a.m. I woke up. This was on my feed, and I thought, I'm probably too tired. I don't get this. What is this? I don't get it. I saw this guy who's trying to act like Steve Jobs up on stage, telling me that this brick is going to change my life. And I'm like, okay, I must be tired. I don't get it. And so I put it away, and I'm so glad you brought this up, because I'm like, is it me? Is this really stupid, or is this really a game changer? I don't know. So Ed, sorry, Ed, I've now polluted your opinion on this, but go ahead. Tell us what you think.
First of all, I said try to keep an open mind and immediately trigger John. So that's fine.
I saw this and I thought, this is stupid.
We've actually seen this on the show before, John. The first time we saw it, it was like a prototype last time, and I shared it, and it was like a clip-on thing, right?
Oh,
and it didn't even have a screen.
Yeah, the thing that projects on the palm of your hand.
Yeah, I think this is the same thing. I believe it is. I could be wrong. I believe this is the same thing. They've changed it from that little weird projector thingy to an actual screen. So there's that. The keynote. Did you watch the keynote at all?
I suffered through it. This guy.
You did? Okay.
This guy was like, we're going to change the world. I'm like, you're not changing anything. You're just convincing me I don't need this. So, but
first of all, I think I may have recommended the show. Mythic Quest.
Everyone try and be like Apple? I don't get it. I don't understand why. Why are you trying to be like Apple? Just stop it. You can convince me if you just make a good demo. You don't need to be all, we're revolutionizing X, Y, and Z. Like, stop with the revolution. Not everything has to be a revolution. Anyways, sorry.
I know I recommended the show Mythic Quest to you. You probably didn't watch it, but the character, the main character in Mythic Quest dresses like this. Like, I swear, this is probably the same boots
Man, I just
that are on the
noticed
show.
boots. Wow.
It's absolutely
okay.
hilarious.
You're tucking your pants into your boots.
Enough shaming of. I don't want to be a mean person. Like, we're gonna mean girl this guy, and I don't want to do that. Let's not do that. Let's
Yeah,
talk
I know.
the tech. Let's talk the tech.
Sorry.
We won't be mean girling him today, even though we want to. All right.
I just
So it goes into like, this is what we have today, and it's a hot mess, and this is what we should do instead. But the problem with this keynote is who is it aimed at? Okay, that's my first question. Who is it aimed at?
okay. My answer is this is a solution looking for a problem.
That I agree with. The keynote, however, like what audience did they aim this at? It's like, it's not consumers. Consumers have no idea what's on my screen right now.
So maybe let's just stop for a second and tell folks what this thing is. My understanding of this is
did we not get that out of the way yet?
This is a portable gateway device into using AI for asking questions is what I got. Again, I watched this at 5. I just woken up. It was all over my feed. I watched it briefly, and I was half asleep watching this. So I don't know if I got it, but it's a device. It's basically it's like a portal into ChatGPT, if my understanding was correct.
Oh, I just realized I can't zoom with the view that I've got here. So this device, this little orange device that's on my screen here. If we go to the keynote,
it's like a NUC. It's like, you know, those portable PCs, not portable, but you know, those little like headless PCs that you get.
Yeah, keep that device in mind. It is basically, come on, where's that screen?
It can't
right there. This. It is basically wrapping this into a device. This is literally all it does, is my opinion.
Yeah.
It is a means to getting to ChatGPT to prompt it. So that immediately is like, all right, who are they targeting with this thing? And he goes on to talk about like, every device has all these buttons to press. And
he goes through this. He's like, everyone uses a phone, but everyone uses apps. You have to go in and out of apps, and they suck, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, you're with me, but the hardest part about this was the pitch. The pitch took like so
I can ask right before anything.
And it's not really
just
identifying a problem, in my view. Like there's not really a huge problem here. Like the fact is, there's a chat GPT app for iPhone and Android, and that works fine, you know. But this is a device that you can talk. Like, I don't get it. I've used the ChatGPT app on iPhone. You can talk to it. It's great. Like that is a great app. The reason why it's ranked like 4 point whatever out of 5 on the iOS store is because it works really, really well. This device, I have no reason to buy this thing. I'm like,
so
what? Okay.
That is somewhat interesting. It's $199.
Yeah, people were questioning whether or not why this isn't a subscription, because you pay for AI comp cycles, right? So
yeah, they're footing the bill on something here. So the play that people were talking about being where they might have some kind of revenue is by you training the AI. That's one aspect of it. So they're kind of like breaking even on the device, paying a little bit of money out of pocket for the compute time in exchange for you training the AI, and then whatever they come up with next will be funded by that. That's a theory that I saw out there. But, you know, I don't get this either. It has a screen that I think just displays some minimum text and maybe a button or two. This camera is just a little pinhole camera. It's not going to do anything great except for maybe use AI to like identify something in front of it. I don't, you know, it's not meant to like take photos and stuff. So as a consumer device, I don't understand it, because your phone that pretty much everybody has these days, right? They're pretty inexpensive for the most part. I think you can get like a cheap Android for $200 or less in the States. Those have a decent camera on them. People like their cameras. People love their cameras, John. So if I were to go, I don't need a phone anymore, I just have my little rabbit, but then I don't have my camera anymore.
This is dumb.
And
I'm sorry.
so what are they going to do with
the
this
next? I don't mean to
next?
sound harsh. This is
right?
just dumb.
Like, okay, Rabbit version 2, we added a camera. Rabbit version 3, we added apps. Rabbit version 4, now it has mapping. Oh wait, we just rebuilt the phone. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it either. It seems, like you said, a problem looking for a solution, or a solution looking for a problem. But the next headline, John, is going to probably trigger you again.
What, they're sold out? Yeah.
They're sold out.
Yep. Classic
They sold
Valley.
out.
This is so Silicon Valley.
They sold out.
Oh my god.
Because people have $200 burning a hole in their pocket.
This is peak Silicon Valley right here. It's like weird device, solution looking for a problem, sells out. You're like, I don't know who's buying this, you know?
Yep. Attracted a flood of interest.
Massive. This is paperweight. Sorry. I don't mean to I'm sorry. I don't mean to trash. I mean, it's not fair. I haven't seen this thing
The bezel.
live, but like
the bezel's like 90% of the screen. It's the cheapest OLED display or whatever, that you could possibly imagine on that thing. It's something you could probably build with a what are those little things called? A Raspberry Pi. Like, this could be a Raspberry Pi kit. Then I could see people maybe like buying it as a hobby device.
All these are going to end up in the ocean. All of them.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to not get you going again here, John, but
let's talk about Cabbage Patch Kids.
Let's talk about the next big thing, augmented reality.
Good.
This is the XREAL Air Pro 2 that is kind of debuting at CES. This is on Windows Central, which they cover a lot of Windows devices and things, and they're pretty biased towards Microsoft stuff. And they're saying, like, this is like leaving the HoloLens in the dust. This is one of the first devices that looks a lot like a pair of glasses. And I think something that you've said a lot of times is that these things are just too big and bulky. This doesn't look too big and bulky to me, John.
Yeah, you know why? Look at what's behind the lenses. Look how thick. Look, dude, like, is there a wire coming off that?
I said we weren't going to mean girls these people. Now you're saying look behind the lenses?
This is not this technology until we
Oh, you mean the technology,
problem.
not the person wearing. Okay, my bad.
Until we solve the battery problem, these things will never ever take off. They'll never be light enough. They'll never until we solve batteries. That's what we need to fix first, batteries.
52-degree field of view, 190 to 120 hertz display. I don't see a big bulky battery, John. Is it?
Yes,
maybe
it's because it's behind, being held by the guy's fingers behind the lenses. And there's probably a wire running off that thing.
I don't think it's behind the lenses. I think it's in the ears.
Just turn the lenses like this, 90 degrees. Let's see how thick that thing is.
Let's see if we can find a photo of
you won't find a picture. I doubt it.
They had them at CES, I believe. Although I think they were behind a case.
This is the prototype. The real version will look much thinner.
Oh, am I sharing the wrong tab? This is the one I meant to share.
It's the marketing site, dude. Of course it's
I know it's a marketing site. There's an angle.
How thick it is. Look how thick it is.
That's not that thick. This is thick.
Yeah, I know. Your headset. Yes, here we go.
This is thick.
Yes. You have them.
To be fair, to take the shroud off. On Snap, the doohickey here. This is thick.
Okay.
This is thick. This device doesn't look that thick, comparatively speaking. There is a little bit of thickness here in the frame on the ear side of it, which I still don't think is that. I mean, again, comparatively speaking, it's not that bad.
Everyone's
Really
going with
not
lighter
that bad.
glasses. Speaking from someone. Okay, I have questions. Okay, they are thick, dude. Look how far off the bridge of her nose they are. Go back just briefly. Yeah, see how far they sit off the bridge of her nose? Those are thick glasses, dude. Speaking as someone who
There we
wears
go.
glasses, I know this very well. Those are very thick glasses.
They are 48 millimeters wide.
That's thick.
That's what it says.
It's very thick, dude.
They weigh 80 grams. That is very light. That is
glasses.
pretty impressive. For a headset, it is.
Is there a wire running off it? How long is the battery life? Yada yada.
Let's see. In the box, a USB cable, a cleaning cloth. I don't see anything about a battery pack.
The fact that they need to ship a nose pad tells you everything you need to know about the thickness.
Nose pad. I don't see massive gear holding it up. This looks pretty impressive to me.
You just have to look at the photo. Look at the photo of her. Look how far off the bridge of her nose those glasses are.
Right.
They're hovering. They're so thick. That's how big they are. Look, I wear glasses. I've worn these for over 30 years. I know what I'm talking about.
It looks like they've come quite a ways.
Okay.
How
much are they?
And then let's get a glimpse at that. By the way,
there you go. USA, far right.
$700.
$700.
$700.
$700. Okay.
But think about it this way, John. If this replaces your phone, that's not a big price.
This will not replace your phone.
Not yet. Not today.
Ever.
Maybe the next version.
Not for a long, long time.
They honestly do not look that big to me.
Everything I'm saying is caveated by the battery problem. If we can fix the battery problem,
that's a good point. Yes. It might do that. I don't know if it's standalone.
Yeah, I don't see a CPU kicking around in those glasses. What's doing all the heavy lifting?
A One UI 5.1 Snapdragon. Am I doing it again? Darn it! I need to switch modes next time. $699, and it has two processors in it.
Dude, those things are big. Those are gonna hurt your earlobes.
Or they goofed up and put this twice. I don't know why. It does have a processor in it. Two of them.
Yeah, those things sitting on top of your ears are gonna hurt. Trust me.
Let's see. What else do we have inside of this thing? It's pretty impressive technology, though.
Who are you trying to convince? Me or you?
I'm saying it's pretty impressive technology packed into this tiny space.
No doubt. Like, look, it's easy for me to poo-poo on stuff like this. We already did that with the Rabbit. I do it with every VR headset, blah, blah, blah. I just think we're early. Until we, again, I come back to this problem. Stop trying to hack my face until we fix batteries. No one's going to buy these things.
Speaking of hacking your face, John, we'll go to the next story. Because I know you definitely want one of these.
Good.
Hello.
Hello, how can I assist you today?
No.
Is there something specific you'd like to know or discuss? Feel free to ask any questions or share a topic you'd like to explore.
Please tell me what conversation. What problem are we trying to solve with this one? I think I broke John. He's frozen.
Hello, how can I assist you today? Is there something specific you'd like to know or discuss? Feel free to ask any questions or share a topic you'd like to explore. I'm here.
It's like a Johnny Cat right out of Recall. There you go. Yeah. This is why memes exist. This is, as you know, in Brazil, they have their street parades all the time. And this is a Star Wars themed with full live AT-ATs, Stormtroopers, Darth Vader, etc. I thought this was this was a lot of work. This is more than just a Lego build. This is look at how that's quite impressive for a float. That's a float at a parade. Look at the Millennium Falcon going back and forth.
Think of how much more impressive this float would be with AR, John.
Right. Thanks.
I think the last time I looked into this one, they were still trying to figure out if it was true or not. But you heard about the flight,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Alaskan Airlines.
I saw this. Yeah, yeah.
So the flight door blasts open and rips off the plane and sucks a iPhone out and survives the fall perfectly intact.
Yep.
And people were debating whether this was factual online. They're saying they found it here in these bushes.
I bet you 100% is real because I have a 15. This is the toughest iPhone I've ever owned. This is right up there with my Nokia 3230 or whatever it was. This is as tough as the Nokia I had back in the day.
Yeah.
And it probably landed in a bush. Sorry, a 3310. Thank you. It probably landed in a bush. Probably got cushioned a little bit, but I 100% believe this thing survived.
I have a hard time believing it.
Really?
Yeah. So, 16,000 foot drop, and
Yes.
it's perfectly intact.
Yeah, but it landed in a bush.
Yet it can't survive my 12-year-old daughter's book bag.
Okay.
Completely destroyed one. She quote put it in her book bag and it dropped inside of her book bag.
I have the exact same phone. I'm literally holding it in my hand. It is a tough phone.
Yeah, Thindle does have a point. It's there is some terminal velocity involved there. It's only going to go so fast. I'm just glad nobody got hit with it. Could you imagine getting clobbered with that?
Given how much I trash technology, it would probably be karma for me if I got hit with a phone and died by it. That would be
if you got hit with an Oculus Quest that fell out of an airplane, I
was just gonna say,
that would be
with those glasses.
I wouldn't wish it on you, John.
No, I know, but
here is fun. This is this is the most fun thing I've played with in tech in years, and I'm gonna keep playing with it.
All right.
The other thing that was real big was transparent displays. So this was one of the decent looking ones, but there was a lot of this at CES.
Right.
So what I think is interesting about this one is it has kind of a back plate that rolls down. So it just kind of looks like a mantle or something when you're not using it. I think that's pretty intelligent design right there. Because I think one of the negatives of the technology is if any backlighting gets behind it, you're not going to use one of these TVs in a brightly lit room. But if you could kind of hide that I see no point in, if you could kind of hide it away and make it part of your decor when you're not using your television, I think people would go for that, especially in higher end.
There's a risk using it as a wall. Someone's going to walk right through it, maybe.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't set it in the center of the room. But, aesthetically, I think it looks good.
Yeah.
And I think people will shell out money for that. I don't think it's going to be your standard issue, TV for your house. But if you have a higher end place you want to put it in, hotel room,
I could definitely
see.
I could definitely see some applications for it for sure. I don't see this as being all that bad.
So there's a lot of that at CES. Different manufacturers, all different sorts of shapes, sizes, different spins on the technology. So
there you go.
Yeah. All right, John. We'll do this again next week. Same time, same channel.
Lots of stuff coming in the new year, especially from us. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, keep your seatbelts fastened. That's all I can say. But other than that, take care. We'll see you next week.